Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode here at Last Week in Geek, the video podcast from Manly Battleships. I'm Mr. Panda.
And I'm Rockstar.
We're here to give you some Tegrity news. With Tegrity. News with Tegrity.
News with Tegrity.
Every time Rockstar helps deliver news, she is doing so with Tegrity. Are you prepared to scroll to the bottom and look at links that you probably won't actually click on? Well, here you go. First and foremost, Rockstar.
DC announced their new Catwoman to Robert Pattinson's Batman. It's Zoe Kravitz.
No relation to Lenny Kravitz.
Actually, she is related to...
Why don't you tell me these things?
We have finally proved that Hollywood has run out of ideas when they're using Barney as the next inspiration for a live-action movie. I mean, I guess they're saying that this is the first one. All those TV movies are shit.
Do you think we get to go back to the Pickle Palace?
It's just past the Pickle Palace.
I would love to see
get
them
some
do
Todd Havercorn in here.
An adventure with Todd Havercorn to get to the Pickle Palace.
Baby Bop runs away to the Pickle Palace. Sounds like a fan fiction.
Okay, now it's just getting worse. We're gonna move on. If you've loved this movie or you hated it, it doesn't matter because it's getting a sequel anyway. Peter Rabbit 2 has a trailer out.
And I didn't watch it, so you don't feel obligated to do it yourself.
Disney recently put out their trailer or a full-length trailer, I should say, for Lady and the Tramp. As if you didn't already know what was gonna happen in that movie. If that's gonna bore you, Disney Plus has a 3-hour trailer telling you everything that's going to be on their site. But ain't nobody got time for that. I know all of you are going to go to a website that just tells you everything that's on Disney Plus.
Is Song of the South on there?
I don't think so, no.
If for some reason in your impaired little brain you wanted to see more of the toys that made us, congratulations, you're in luck. Not a trailer per se, more like a teaser. It's basically just some of the toys they're going to talk about while theme music for the toys plays in the background. That's what you got.
Not only that, they announced they're doing a spin-off of movies that made us. They say it's going to be a collection of 80s movies, but they added Home Alone as an exception, so...
Because, of course, that makes perfect sense.
They said it was so close to what all the other 80s movies that it didn't matter. It was almost considered an 80s movie.
I see. Never give up, never surrender. We may never see Galaxy Quest 2, unfortunately. However, they are releasing a documentary about behind-the-scenes look, a making-of feature that's supposed to take you into the background of the development of the movie. Might see some unseen footage or perhaps some extras that weren't included in the final film, up to and including the part where Sigourney Weaver says fuck.
Yeah, they actually do talk about the deleted scenes and that she couldn't say fuck.
You know, it's weird too, because I went to see it in the theaters, and I distinctly recall her saying it in the theater. So, like...
The fun part, too, is it's going to be in theaters. So, check out your local... Say it for me. Phantom.
Rockstar, The Phantom Menace. An epic tale where Rockstar delves into the problems of having to pronounce fathom.
It just comes out
both
of my
an
mouth.
Intellectual concept and a unit of measurement. Fathom. Not a phantom menace, not a carnival phantasm, nothing to do with phantoms of operas or other things. Fathom is a very different word. It's not even spelled the same.
Bilingual problems, people. Bilingual problems.
What excuse is that? PH is not a Spanish phoneme.
Really stuck on the fact they can't say fathom.
Hey, you did it! You did it! Osamu Dazai is bringing out a new anime film. This is the guy who made Afro Samurai, by the way. It's called Human Lost, and it's going to be coming out in theaters with a focus on the U.S. market for some reason. Probably because Afro Samurai did surprisingly well here in America, all things considered.
I'm actually very surprised it's getting premiered here first before Japan, but it is, and you can go watch it in theaters to support anime movies. In more serious news, we did actually have a 35-year-old Japanese man arrested for death threats and copycat threats of what happened at Kyoto to another studio in Japan. This time it was in reference to Studio Khara. The man claims that the reason he was so angry is he sent an email stating that they had stolen his family's copyright. Copyright that we don't know to what. but a copyright, and when he received no response back, he started threatening them. He was also very surprised at the arrest because he didn't realize Studio Khara was scared. Which, considering what happened at Kyoto, I think anyone would be scared after death threats and fire and arson threats and...
Yeah, threats aren't good at the best of times. And in particular, not when someone followed through on them so recently. John Cho, the guy who's going to be playing Spike in Netflix's version of Cowboy Bebop, has sustained a serious injury, and production will not be canceled entirely. He is not going away, but he needs time to recover, and so production for the show is getting pushed back about 9 months. So expect a release date for that show much later than originally anticipated.
Our thoughts are that he recovers safely, honestly, because it is a serious injury that requires surgery. So here's hoping that everything goes well for him. It was very fascinating to watch the news last week because if you've noticed, there were at least 2 websites reporting that you would never see Studio Ghibli movies on streaming sites.
Anime News Network.
The very next day, they had to eat crow considering that HBO Max announced they will be streaming all the Studio Ghibli movies.
I think the only thing that anyone should be surprised about is that it wasn't part of Disney Plus's lineup. I mean, Walt Disney's the distributor. I have a feeling that when they negotiated those contracts, it never occurred to Disney to secure digital streaming rights.
Well, maybe that, or the fact that HBO is probably looking for people to come after Game of Thrones ended.
Okay, we got several $100 million sitting around from Game of Thrones. What now? Anime, those anime nerds! Yeah, here's a little bit of money for the movies, now come give us your money! Better watch out, Crunchyroll. A long-term plan to finally open the largest mall in the United States. At least I think it's going to be the largest mall in the United States.
It's going to be the largest indoor park in North America.
But it's part of a larger plan. And this larger plan is finally coming to fruition. And it's going to open. And as part of this larger plan, there's a Nickelodeon theme park that's going to be opening. An indoor one. And it's going to be great. Starting October 25th, you'll be able to visit this theme park, allegedly. If the doors open, you'll know it. Regular admission is expected to be $40. All access pass, whatever the heck that means, I don't know. You can get that for like $50. Dramatic readings of the article we just did. Maybe we can license that.
I don't think we can.
License readings. License some readings of the SpongeBob article.
Demonetized.
I didn't say anything bad. Additional installations at this massive resort area, for lack of a better term, is going to include an ice rink, an indoor snow park, and DreamWorks apparently is going to be opening their own theme park, but it's going to be like water. It's going to be like water slides and shit.
I can't even. There's too much planned at this. This is not opening on the 25th. Place your bets, people. It's not opening on the 25th.
I mean, they've been working on this for, 17 years? They could wait a little longer.
Well, we don't know whether or not Nickelodeon's theme park is going to open or not. We have news from Galaxy's Edge. And that is, fans are angry.
Why are they angry, Rockstar?
They're angry because Disney decided to make, I think it was service workers' lives easier by changing the food names from immersive Star Wars-like names to, regular food names, like a ham and cheese hoagie.
What was a ham and cheese hoagie before?
I don't know. I was just making shit up on the fly.
Jabba Hutt.
No, well, I know that there was, really weird names. Like, there was one that was, something about a Yip Kip or something like that.
Ooh, Yip Kip. What's that?
I have no clue what it was.
Was that the problem?
Yes, that was part of the problem. Nobody knew what they were ordering. Well, you may say, oh, well, they had descriptions underneath, Rockstar. They could have read it. Yeah, sure. Have you ever worked in the service industry? People don't read when it's a big sign in front of their face.
South Park had a whole episode about it. Why won't it read?
I'm not saying everyone is dense, but there are times working in the service industry, you'll meet a lot of dense people.
Speaking of tourist attractions, the Bronx, New York, now has one of its own. If you didn't get the chance to see Joker, and you somehow missed our discussion about Joker, you should know this. There's a scene that was even in the trailer where the newly christened Joker prances down the stairs like an idiot to anyone who can't hear the music in their heads, and therefore has immortalized that location, that actual location in the Bronx, as a new destination for people who want to take Instagram photos.
I mean, hell, Google Maps even changed it to call it the Joker Stairs.
Go figure. Now, you should be warned. Local residents have been quick to point out that this is one of the most dangerous areas of the Bronx. Yeah, you can come out here, and you might get robbed. But that's fine. In my personal opinion, I think that's an authentic experience to what the movie was trying to get across. So if you go out there and you get robbed, I think you should post about it. Assuming you survived.
And I just tell you guys to be safe. Please be safe.
You know what?
Listen to Panda.
You know what? Snapchat needs to get out here, get on this. And Instagram. They need to create a custom filter that you can only use at the stairs. Really get them out in droves. Come on.
What? Is it going
Let's
to be
see some
two
chaos.
robbers with a gun? You pose in front of them? Like what?
I don't know. Clown mask.
Blizzard and China, the love story. It continues.
The love story we didn't ask for, but the love story we deserve. A Harlequin romance novel.
I would love to see what somebody designed that. That should be like...
Bryce Chadwell, get on this. We can co-author it.
You remember that college Hearthstone team we were talking about?
The ones complaining about not getting suspended?
Yeah, they got suspended for 6 months by Blizzard.
Well, if it will make you feel better.
And it did, because they responded on Twitter saying that they were happy that no player was above another. Speaking about bans, if you've been on the Hearthstone Twitch stream lately, you've probably noticed that the chat was kind of overflowing with pro-Hong Kong comments. Yeah, most of them probably got banned.
Now, in fairness, we can't tell whether it's because of the message or because they were spamming, but still.
It's very up in the air, especially since the bans were kind of inconsistent, but Blizzard is sure loving their ban hammer as of lately. We also mentioned last time that even our local lawmakers, our senators, were getting involved in this Blizzard mess. It's gotten worse. We have a letter that is bipartisan supported. Guys, we can't get our lawmakers to agree on climate change, on other things, on big important news things.
On the president.
They all agreed that Blizzard needs to bring back Blitzchung.
Who would have thought that the U.S. Congress, if they had to come out swinging for someone, it would be for an e-gamer.
For an e-gamer. Does this mean we've reached peak
It's a milestone.
gamer?
Yeah, like
We've reached peak gamer!
I think professional gaming has gone mainstream finally.
It's just amazing. This is a milestone. Should we celebrate it?
Yeah, celebrate Chinese overlordship.
No. We should dial that back. Where was I?
Oh no, if we keep talking about that, we might get canceled.
In light of all of this stuff that's happened, Blizzard, for one, outright canceled a Nintendo Switch Overwatch event that was supposed to happen in New York City. Mm-hmm. And Nintendo took no time to basically push Blizzard under the bus and said it was their decision, guys. We had nothing to do with it.
Japan over here sipping their tea like,
we're not involved with this.
oh, distress for China?
They outright postponed a World of Warcraft anniversary event in Taiwan. I wonder why.
You mean East China? East China!
Taiwan.
No map! Map says China.
Rejoice, everybody, because I'm pretty sure the drama's not over. If anyone has forgotten, BlizzCon is around the corner. I admit I've never
Gather
said
as
this.
Winnie the Pooh, they can't ban us all.
Well, we can't confirm whether that is true or not, but I've never been more excited for any BlizzCon. I've never been excited for any BlizzCon, but this one I might actually see if there's a live stream. If it exists, or if they don't just cancel it outright.
Well, I have a feeling there might not be any Q&A sessions.
No matter what happens, it'll be glorious.
I like how some people were talking about what Blizzard would do to kind of dust this whole thing under the rug, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the next 7 games they release are totally going to be awesome, guys." And then they immediately announce that there's now rumors that they're going to announce Diablo 4 and a Diablo 2 remaster. Oh, I'll bet the time frame for those were moved up a little bit, huh?
Just a little bit? I'm sure they're rushing right now.
Why are we still talking about Martin Scorsese and his bad opinions about Marvel's Cinematic Universe? Well, the drama continues. Natalie Portman now has gotten into the mix and has pointed out that, you know what, there's room for all types of cinema on both sides. It's okay to like one type of movie or another or both. That's fine. And then Francis Ford Coppola walks in the room like a Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah, Marvel sucks.
I mean,
that Scorsese guy was giving you the down low too soft. He pulls his punches. Me, I'm gonna come in here like a hurricane and tell you that they are the worst thing that has ever been made anywhere.
You know, when you put it that way, it's great. You're not even exaggerating. Of course, the internet immediately clapped back against Ford Coppola. I wonder why. And they used a word that I didn't realize young people knew. Curmudgeon. They called him an old curmudgeon. And they called him a washed-up old hag.
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
Oh, you know the bit. So, Twitter is great. The internet war against not safe for work content is continuing. This time it's with Imgur. Imgur is trying to disassociate itself from Reddit. Or at least the seedier side of Reddit. No longer will you be able to embed your not safe for work naughty no pictures from Imgur onto Reddit. It's not saying that you can't upload not safe for work pictures at all on Imgur. Apparently that's still allowed as long as it's hidden. But embedding on Reddit? Oh no, can't have that. We're going to dirty up the whole internet. Can't have it.
Our space sticks is going to become a much less interesting place. For our final story today, we have a fun little interest piece for you. Hooray! Are we safe at last? If you didn't know this before, we're going to tell you now. The United States military is one of the most sophisticated places on Earth, and we rely on top-notch, super reliable equipment in order to conduct our operations and to protect our homeland and preserve democracy. And in order to accomplish this, the United States Strategic Command, which is responsible for overseeing all of our missile defense systems, has been relying on a very special system in order to allow a presidential order to launch nukes to go through. You know, it uses a very important non-hackable code. To accomplish this, we use something that relies on the diskette system. If you don't know what that is, you ever seen what a floppy disk looks like? All right, now picture that a little bit bigger. Nope, not talking about the 5 1/4 ones. 8-inch floppy disks. The diskette system, also known as 8-inch floppy disks, is the basis for encryption for United States missile systems. When one wants to go through, they load that in, and that's what allows the authorization to launch. It's a very efficient system, and has been relied upon for a good 40 years now.
I've never even seen an 8-inch floppy before until I saw the picture of it.
It's actually very reliable, unhackable, awesome system, but it is currently in the middle of being replaced. We do not know how far they've gotten in this process.
Probably for a good reason we don't know this.
But we have been reliably told that they're working on that, and it's going to be swapped over to a solid-state drive system rather than the existing 8-inch floppy disk system.
Not that it really matters where the nuclear codes are because of the current state of affairs of our politics. I'll just put it that way as the safe way.
I mean, hell, I'm going to be honest with you, it's like, I'm fine with that, but like when I grew up, I was still using the 5-inch diskettes for some things because even then I had antiquated technology just laying around my house. So I actually read up a little bit on this system before we started. It came out in 1973. It was IBM's high capacity plan.
You're making me feel so much better here. And we never changed it. And it's 2019.
I mean, what were they going to change it to? In, like, the 90s, computers weren't that much better. I mean, we were still using, like... We had, like, 64 kilobytes of RAM on the space shuttle. That's all you needed.
I just thought they would have upgraded to something.
Why? All it needs to do is say, launch the missiles!
Emergency Communist Acquisition Directive.
That's all it needs to say. It doesn't need any more information. Okay, on that terrifying
Communist aggression will be battled!
On that terrifying note, we will say goodbye. And see you next week on Last Week in Geek. Comment, like, subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Better dead than red.
Love you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Primary targets. Any and all Red Chinese invaders. Communist target acquired. Engaging Red Chinese aggressors.